Well, let's move into the players that are actually playing basketball, and we'll talk about the Summer League. Las Vegas Summer League still going on. I believe they're in the third round now. Second round, going into the third round. I think Lakers have advanced. There's still some games going on right now. We'll jump into it. Talked last week about Trae Young and a little bit of other performances. Now we're talking about the Knicks and how bright their future is. Kevin Knox has been fantastic, to say the least. Mitchell Robinson has been fantastic as well. Yeah. Second round pick for them. Absolutely fantastic so far, Summer League for the Knicks. Thanks for rolling your eyes, Ricky. Really appreciate it. Love the enthusiasm. Let's talk about how bright the Knicks' future is, though, because this is talking about what's going to come into next season. They have Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, obviously Frank Ntilikina. They have Kristaps, who should play at some point this year. They have Tim Hardaway Jr. They have some players that are youthful on this team. What do you think about the Knicks' future, Ricky? Has Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson changed your mind so far?
They're not a playoff team. For me, they're a team that, at best, they're maybe top of the heap in the East that doesn't make the playoffs. Like, I am not one of those guys that, oh my God, Kevin Knox dropped 29 points, put the Knicks in the 8th seed. Like, I am not at that point. It's great to see young players playing well, but at the end of the day, Kristaps ain't coming back until, February, maybe even... Not even like
February,
past then.
I think it's like January, February is like the timetable we're supposed to.
And at that point, it's, hey, you know what? We're not going to make the playoffs anyways. Why not just sit them the whole year? This is a year where it's like it's kind of like what we talked about with the Bulls, where it's like, cool, we got some young players to be excited about, but we're going back into the draft and getting another young piece to add to this core.
Dave, looking at the Knicks, I mean, this is not solely based on this season, but this is their future in general.
Right.
Do you think it's more brighter than coming out of the draft? Because obviously, they talked about Kevin Knox being a project. Yeah. Mitchell Robinson was a guy that fell into the second round. We all had him in the first round.
Because he's first-round talent. We got that shit right.
Oh, and remember when we said Robert Williams is going to fall in the second round? Fell to, first round, 27th. But I think he probably thinks he's in the second round because he keeps losing everything and lost his wallet twice, apparently. He's waking up late.
In one day.
So he should have been a second-round pick.
We only had him fall in that live one, though, because partly earlier on I was like, oh, holy crap, Robert Williams is still there.
We just didn't fit on a team. I just didn't like him.
I should have taken him with the Celtics where he ended up going.
I don't like his energy on the floor. I don't think it's great. He obviously is not even showing energy off. He's not even showing energy waking up in the morning. But let's getting back to the Knicks.
Yeah, again, sometimes that's hard waking up in the morning.
I have troubles every day, but I'm not an NBA player. Looking at Frank Ntilikina, looking at Kevin Knox, looking at Robert Williams, looking at Kristaps Porzingis even. How bright do you think the Knicks' future is from this season and beyond?
It's pretty good, honestly. They're like one piece away from really being able to compete. I think that you let Kevin Knox take the reins this year. You didn't even mention my boy Mario Hezonja.
That's true.
The biggest offseason signing to this team. I think that this team is like one all-star shy of competing for a championship because I think Eastern Conference championship.
Oh, wow.
Eastern Conference.
I mean, you think Kevin Knox is that good already?
I think the pairing of having KP plus Kevin Knox plus Frank plus Mario Hezonja plus
Kyrie Irving.
But I mean, here's the thing.
That's where I was going, was plus the Kyrie Irving.
But even then, with Mario Hezonja, I mean, just for that, I mean, he's only there for this year for sure.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, he's not a guy that might be there next year.
He's not a guaranteed long-term guy. I know. Mm-hmm. He's there to soak some contract, see what he can do.
I mean, if you want to say Frank, Kevin Knox, Kristaps, and even Mitch Rob are long-term,
fine,
that's fine.
That's fine. Point being, I think these kids actually can be they're one of the more impressive turns because I think KP, we all knew what he could be, but he's been just hampered with injury after injury after injury. This obviously being the biggest one, him being out for a majority of this year. But I think that'll give, like I said, Kevin Knox a chance to absolutely spotlight this season. I think he can walk into the league. And I know during the pre-draft we're he's raw. We haven't seen much out of him. He had that one streak where he was the guy on his team for about a month and a half stretch, and then he fell out of favor. And then when you start looking at it, you're like, well, they were playing him at the 4 a lot, which is kind of weird. And now we're seeing him in Summer League play more 3, and he looks comfortable, and he looks confident. And he's out there dropping threes on people, holding the arm, walking back. And it's just that's the guy we want to see. I don't know if any other college team makes great, I don't want to say great talent, makes really good, talented players look average, more so. But Kevin Knox, I think the man shouldn't have been booed on draft night. He is long, he is athletic, he has got a good shot, and honestly, he looks like he can be a guy who can be a 1 or 2 on a team. pairing him with Mitch Robb, who is a steal. I can't call him Mitch Robb, but we already got Don Mitch. It's just getting
Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson. But perhaps one of the 14 steals of this draft.
I love
it.
The biggest thing with Kevin Knox, and again, if you want to be excited about him,
I'm excited about everyone right now.
Please be excited about him, Knicks
Yes.
fans. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. It's been a while since you've had a young player like Kevin Knox, and I'll take Kristaps out before even Kristaps, to be this excited about.
Yeah.
Frank was a great draft pick. I love Frank.
But it's a long term.
Well, and he was a guy, again, that was going to be a project, and last year that he showed he was going to be a project.
Yep.
He was great defensively, but again, offensively,
Still
he's not
younger
there.
than half these draft picks.
And he needs some work. With Kevin Knox, I know people are going to be, well, it's different. 6'9", already has a body. He might be like the next Jason Tatum, where Jason Tatum came in and was fantastic. Maybe he will. I'm not making any bold predictions because I don't know what's going to happen. This is Summer League. If you want to be excited, be excited. If you want to be, cautiously optimistic, be cautiously optimistic. If you want to be a pessimist and still boo him and say it's only Summer League, then go ahead and do so. I just think the thing with New York
Not booing them. I just think that let's put actual NBA defenders on them and see what's going on there.
I think the biggest thing for New York is just you need to relax. And I think the biggest thing the media needs to do is relax.
Gonna spot up
because
for 'em?
let's look at Kevin O'Connor from The Ringer saying, with Kevin Knox here, the Knicks' new era is officially here. I understand that is this the next team? Is this the next guy that's a part of this team? Then yes, that's fine. But the next era might be a little bit too bold because maybe that era means, hey, we'll make the playoffs for some consistent years. But I don't think this means you're finally going to bring an NBA championship back. First time since 1973. I think this is a team that again needs time to develop. This team needs the time to grow, and I think this team would be better off again. We talked about the Bulls possibly
we don't
being
even
a playoff
know what's
team.
going to happen because this is Fizdale's first year too. Fizdale's not even out there coaching them yet, because we're in Summer League right now. You got all the assistants doing it where we don't even know what this team is going to look like with the vets, with Fizdale actually there.
First-year coaches have been on the sidelines. So, I saw Dwayne Casey out there for the Pistons. There have been guys that are new to their jobs and have been coaching in Summer League. I haven't seen Fizdale out there. I'm not 100% sure if he is out there. But I wouldn't be shocked if he does have a lot of hands-on communication with what's going on in Summer League. So I don't know about that with the whole Fizdale thing. But again, this is his first year out there. And we could say he made the playoffs before with Memphis, but also that wasn't a super successful regime in Memphis with the way it ended. I just think the biggest thing that Knicks fans need to do is slow down and let the kid play. If he goes out there and it is fantastic, then celebrate him. If he goes out there and he looks like a project, well then take a deep breath because people said that he was going to be a project and there's still flashes. And if he goes out there and looks absolutely horrible, then just take your time and breathe because again, he's still super young and he's a project. I just think that people need to
last year the Bulls won the Summer League and Bulls fans were like, yeah, we're going to do great things.
2 years
and
ago.
then didn't do that 2 years ago. Where it's
2016 Summer League.
You know what? The Summer League, to me, I'm not a huge Summer League guy, and I just, it's great to, individual fans to see your team, get excited about your team, but, with the Knicks, you're not going to make the playoffs this year. You might not, unless you get a Kyrie, you're probably might not be a playoff team the year after, maybe an 8th seed at best.
I think they could squeak in.
The deep future might be a little bright.
I'm talking about the deep future, and I think it is bright from that standpoint because let's look at what they have. At point guard, or maybe two. He's played the two last year, but people think that his next role will be point guard. Dave is one of them for Frank. So if we put him at the one for Frank, you have your future one in Frank. And I think that he has shown enough to at least be a starter in the league because of his defense. He might never come around on the offensive side, but the guy is a starter when it comes to defensive. He's got a good shot.
It's just confidence.
No, I know. And again, he's very young. I'm not saying he's a lost cause. I'm just saying right now.
He ain't out there shooting like MKG.
Well, I'm saying right now he is not there offensively.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do if I'm a Knicks fan is give Frank the ball with the last 5 minutes and me being down 5.
I want him to just go ISO all day.
No, I'm good.
Can I ask a hypothetical?
Yes.
What if they do get Kyrie? What happens with Frank?
First off, let me finish off about the future of the players that are there, and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
But for the future right now, it seems like Frank is your future one, and I am super excited about that, and you should be super excited about that if you are a Knicks fan. At the 2, Tim Hardaway has a contract. Courtney Lee has a contract. You don't have much at the 2. But at the 3, Kevin Knox, again, has a very bright future. Be excited about that. KP the biggest concerns about him is injury, but if he is healthy, he is one of the best bigs in the league. And we look at Mitchell Robinson, he is a guy that I think can be a starter in this league. That's why I had him going 15th in this draft, in our mock drafts leading up to it. I think this future is really bright for New York, and that's all I want to say. Whether they add Kyrie or not, these 4 players can be 4 starters
I'm
for
just
them
saying, like,
throughout
because
the next 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. Even.
Because of like the question with Frank, 1 or 2. Well, if they get Kyrie, then he's a 2 for sure, right?
He can play them both.
I think you
I
can
mean,
just, I think you
obviously
see
Kyrie's not going to
guards.
play every single minute of every game, but like if you're going to have
But even
both of them
then-
out on the floor, are you going to have Kyrie then be your 2 guard?
Well, even then, I think you can have the switching between Frank and Kyrie if Frank is able to again take over that facilitator role because we see how good Kyrie is coming off screens. He can come off screens and shoot the ball. I mean, he could even.
But Kyrie's goddamn magic with the ball in his hands. Like he's one of the best ball handlers in the NBA, bar none. He's fantastic bringing it down to the hoop. Like there's. What he is on offense, Frank is like a notch below that on defense. Like, there's no reason to not have them both on the court at the same time. Like, we've seen this last year, Frank was able to tie up some of the best guards in the NBA and hold them to less than average for their games and have one of the best defensive ratings between him and KP was actually on par better than Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, who were the leaders last year in the NBA. So, I mean, like, they're incredibly set at that point. I don't think they're worried about fitting around Frank. Like, he is a defensive monster. His offensive game will grow. His shot is there. The stroke is smooth. It's just a confidence problem
That's
right
why
now.
I'm saying.
So, yeah,
be
you put
excited
anyone
about
next to him.
Frank.
You put him at the 2, you put him at the 1. It doesn't matter.
Well, and Frank, when he grows, he might be able to be a guy that plays off ball with Kyrie Irving, and then he might grow into a player that can carry the ball and then have Kyrie play off ball. I mean, it gives you a lot of options. I think that Frank isn't a guy that you're locked in at one position like, let's say, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a point forward for sure, bar none. He's not going to be a guy that plays off ball because he can't shoot.
But he wants to be a 3-and-D wing.
He ain't going to be a 3-and-D wing. He's not going to be a Cowboy. But I think that, again, you have a lot of flexibility there, which would be nice if you brought in a Kyrie Irving. And again, that's one thing, as I think you have 4 for sure future starters in Frank, Kevin Knox, Kristaps, if healthy, and then obviously
100% agree.
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah.
So then you have that ability to add a guy like Kyrie Irving, without a doubt. You have that ability to add another star. If it's Jimmy Butler plays it too. I mean, you have the ability to add another star. And my biggest question is, not question, but I have been such a staunch supporter of young teams. I've been a staunch supporter of the Lakers. Stick with that youth. That's why I don't think you should trade for Kawhi Leonard right now, because you have the possibility of getting him in free agency. I'm very staunch about teams sticking with their youth and building from the ground up. And I think even though New York is the biggest market in the United States and they can draw that free agency name power, I don't think you should go overboard. Should you delve into the free agency pool? Without a doubt. If Kyrie wants to come and play for you and he wants to be that 5th piece, absolutely go out and get Kyrie Irving, because he is a guy that's 26 years old, 27 years old, going to be 27 next year. He's a guy that is going to be in his prime. He can be your veteran leader. I think that would be a great signing. But going out getting Kyrie and then going and trading for Kawhi Leonard and then going and getting Jim Butler, that's when it becomes a mess. You need to build a team and not just get these stars.
Kyrie, I think, is the only one for me that I'm looking at that they realistically could add that is like, you know what, he's the one that they would bring in
there
for
was
sure.
talk that when Jimmy Butler's contract is up, that Kyrie and Jimmy Butler have been talking to go to New York.
The
That's
only
Butler.
joke I was going to say is, like, for you are a guy who supports the younger teams, but like there was one comment that made me laugh where it's like, this guy talking about you, he just hates big market teams. So it's like, yeah, you like a young team in New York, but will you hate them because they're a big market team?
Big market teams are so poorly fucking run. Let's look at Chicago. I mean, you have not brought a free agent, like a big free agent signing, in how many years? Your last big free agent signing was fucking Carlos Boozer. Like, I mean, that was like the big move. Or you want to say Dwayne Wade on that 2-year deal.
We were going to get LeBron that year.
Yeah, I know. You were thinking you
We had the last meeting.
My point is that you didn't get him. You haven't gotten a big free agent in so long. I was crushed. I
watched the decision being like, he's going to be a Bull. And
let's look at New York.
No,
the last big free agent you brought in was Amari Stoudemire. How'd that work out? Let's look at the Lakers. You've got LeBron James. Congratulations. That's the one I can't really bash. You can't even call Los Angeles Clippers a big market because they're not supported like a big market team. They're more like a Memphis.
They're the baby brothers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the biggest thing about these teams is that you're giving massive contracts to Kobe Bryant when he's completely out of his twilight. You're giving massive contracts to Carmelo Anthony, who has a massive ego problem. You're giving massive contracts to Derrick Rose, who has massive knee injuries and injury issues. You're giving massive contracts to Jimmy Butler, who doesn't want to be there. You're giving massive contracts to, I don't know, Tom Thibodeau and then getting rid of him. You're giving massive contracts to Fred Hoiberg, who is still developing as a coach in his 4th year of the contract. Just they're poorly run franchises. And James Dolan is a poor owner. And hopefully they're going in the right direction. But you're still under the owner of James Dolan.
But the Bulls have the best player in cash considerations.
Yes.
Cash consideration.
Yeah. But again, I don't hate on big markets. I'm from Chicago. I love big markets.
I just find it funny. Like
New York seems like a great city.
That's a joke I thought in my head because I thought of that comment. I'm like, oh, young team.
Another thing was that people were talking about, and we'll get to the other summer league and right after this point, was we talked about getting rid of the cap in the NBA, and people were like, oh, that just means New York can buy everybody. That means LA can buy everybody. Let's look at New York. Last World Series, they won. The Yankees, one of the best run franchises in the history of the MLB. The best franchise, probably the biggest. Dave's yawning because about baseball.
That was post Steinbrenner though.
But there's still Steinbrenners there.
The daddy was the main Steinbrenner.
Yes, George, of course. But I mean, you still have Hank there, and then even then, you still have good old Brian Cashman, who is still pretty much the prodigy of Steinbrenner. He's the brains of that operation. He's still there. The biggest thing about them, they haven't won a World Series since 2009. Even before that, let me finish my point. Even before then, they haven't won since 2000. And then let's look at Los Angeles. They haven't won since 1988. I mean, the Dodgers, and they have the biggest payroll this year. You have not been able to see big market teams win World Series. You saw the Cubs, but they did that in-house. We look at the White Sox. They did that for 1 year, and that was a blink of the eye, and they didn't even have big of a payroll. No. We've seen this in other teams where the market doesn't matter. You need to be well run, and the Knicks aren't well run, the Bulls aren't well run, and the Lakers are trying to change that tide right now.
I was going to bring up the Lakers because the Lakers are almost the same thing as the Yankees, where it's like you look at the Lakers with Daddy Bus compared to what they've been past Daddy Bus, and it hasn't been the same thing.
Jeannie's trying to find her feet. I don't think she's doing too horrible of a job.
I'm just saying the Lakers were more successful, just like the Yankees. They had their more successful days when the Papa Steinbrenner and Papa Bus were running the team.
What I'm saying is that with Bus and George was the fact that they had so much time to build up their empires, where Jeannie and Hank really haven't been doing that so far, and they still look like promising teams. Anyways, let's jump into other summer league stuff because I don't want to talk about all this stuff. And let's talk about other players. One guy that I do want to bring up is a guy in the Kentucky thing. Dave, you brought up Kevin Knox and him not really shining in that Kentucky area. The guy that I want to talk about is Malik Monk. He played one game in Las Vegas, ended up hurting his thumb, dropped 23 points, looked absolutely fantastic. This is a guy last year that when he was getting 20 minutes per game, every single game that he had 20 minutes, around that. 20 minutes. He put up. It was the one I'm counting is 19 minutes and 45 seconds. So sue me. But with that one included, he averaged 15.3 points per game, and that was about 15 games. So he was dealing with an ankle injury, but when he got time and he got the belief from Steve Clifford, which really didn't come too often, he showed that he could be super scoring the basketball. So I really like what Malik Monk brought, and we saw him in a looser format in Summer League. I really think he's going to be an interesting player and a really interesting player to watch because he might be the future for good old Charlotte, along with Miles Bridges, if they're getting rid of Kemba Walker. I loved what I saw from Malik Monk. I think that his jumper is super wet. He's definitely going to be a wet boy this year because I'm going to watch out for him and consistently watching.
He's part of the origin of it anyway.
For my boy Malik Monk. Absolutely love what I saw from Malik Monk. I hope that is signs of new life, and I hope he can get the minutes he deserves in Charlotte.
100% agree with you. His shot is sick. I wish we would have got to see more Summer League out of him, but honestly, after that first game, I was like, nope, seen it all. I got everything I need to be reassured that the fact that the end of last year was not just some Nico end of the year hype. Let's get me a contract kind of thing. No, the only thing that concerned me was at the end of the year he wouldn't get consistent minutes. He'd get hot and then they'd bench him and then they'd bring back out in rotation after he cooled off again and be like, so shooting numbers weren't always the best, but he has no fear. He has instant offense. And he's got the green light to shoot, and I think it's awesome. I think he should be definitely one of their shining pieces moving forward.
I think the biggest thing with Monk is that he wasn't super quick. At least watch him in that one game of Summer League, but that could change over. They could change over in need to game period. Dave, what are other players that kind of stuck out to you?
I mean, if you want to go for second-year players who are impressing,
because they've been really good.
Well, there's been some really good, some really bad. Josh Jackson had some struggles. Let me read off. 10 points, 2 boards, 1.3 is 24% from the field. less than stellar.
Defense was still there, though.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a couple of those
Shouldn't
blocks.
the second-year players look better, though,
should
because they've
dominate. Like,
played a
look
year
at
of
Josh
NBA
Hart.
basketball?
Josh Hart looks like a professional basketball player.
Josh Hart was unreal. I
Yeah.
mean, Josh Hart, you look at him and him coming in, you're like, all right, this guy should not be traded for Kawhi Leonard because this guy's going to be a consistent.
He's a consistent contributor. He could be a starter. Yeah.
And I don't think you should get rid of him because I think he's going to do well with LeBron James.
Yeah.
I think he might do better than Lance Stevenson. He might end up being their two guard.
Well, it's like Derek Jones on the Heat. I was watching.
my God, yeah.
I was watching their game against the Lakers, and he was balling out. And I love it because the announcers, I think they were hometown guys anyways, are like, yeah, he's really doing good. And the color guy goes, yeah, but he's a second-year player, so he should be balling out.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing.
it's
You
true,
should be
but-
concerned if they don't.
Yeah, but I think that's why we need to at least celebrate the second-year players that do, because then it's like, all right, we shouldn't be worried about him. Monk doing well, shouldn't be worried about him. Josh Hart doing well, shouldn't be worried about him. And then obviously the rookies that are doing well, like Kevin Knox, that's why we should be like, all right, holy crap, why are these guys doing so well?
impressive, but-
And especially with Kevin Knox with his ability to, is getting across the floor in 5 steps, absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So I really liked what I saw out of Josh Hart. Obviously, I want to give, just because we're talking about the Lakers, I want to give a shout out to my boy Svi.
That's what I was going to
Mikhailuk.
bring up.
I love
Kansas
him.
boy.
Love him, absolutely. What do you like about him so far?
To me, it is everything I saw at Kansas. I was like, he's got to be a pure shooter for an NBA team, and he's been looking really good for me. Where it's like, I look at that and I go, you know what? Everyone's complaining that LeBron didn't get enough shooters. Well, he's got a young one right here in Mikhailuk, and that's going to make Pat happy. Pat, our patron, who's a Kansas boy himself,
and I
Kansas
think
fan himself.
The one thing, too, about Svi is that not only has he shown that ability to shoot so well, but he's been aggressive on the boards. He's shown pretty decent passing skills, and he's also attacked the rim very nicely, which I like because he's not going to be a starter for the Lakers. We know that. But if he can be a guy that comes off the bench, gives them points consistently, be absolutely huge for that team. And I love what I've seen so far out of Svi.
I've also liked Mo Wagner in spurts. Like, he's looked good in spurts, but I mean, consistency's the big thing with him right now.
Well, and that's something we haven't seen from these rookies. We look at Ayton, haven't seen major consistency.
Yeah.
We look at Bagley, haven't seen major consistency.
There's only one big man rookie who you're leaving out there.
What was it? But didn't Bagley only get like 2 shots his first summer league game? Wasn't that the one?
no,
where
the
No,
second-
his first one he got like 19 points.
Yeah, his second one was when he got shut down.
Okay.
But my point was, you mentioned all these big men who went early. And Mo Bamba had some interesting performances. Obviously, he doesn't kill the stat line, but he does give you good defense. He gives you some blocks, some rebounds. Like, he does a little bit of everything on that lineup.
But he's also not the guy that's sticking out of that Magic team. That guy is Jonathan Isaac, who, holy crap, he's been absolutely fantastic so far. And again, he's a second-year player, and he should be doing this.
But he
Jonathan
was
Isaac,
injured last year, so we're finally getting to see him evolve a little.
and he looks, better than what he was in high school. In college.
Yeah.
He seems like that growth. When he came out of college, we were pegging him for a 3-and-D, a guy that can defend multiple positions. But I'm seeing him with the ball in his hands, and he looks comfortable. He looks like a guy that's not afraid to drive to the rim. And a big thing about him was I was afraid that he wasn't really going to bulk up, but he looks stronger. He looks, aggressive driving the rim, and he doesn't look like he's going to be, knocked down by bigger players when attacking the rim. And he looks absolutely great. And you talk about Mo Bamba, he wasn't a guy that we think is going to be a finished player. Ricky, I know you said that you like him in the next 3 years, but there's a reason why you're not saying he's going to be the best big man coming out right away.
Yeah.
Is because he needs to have that growth. And he's shown the ability to show great defense, but also let's look at his legs. He needs to bulk
He got
up,
them
and that's going to
Tyson
take some
Chandler
time.
legs, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take time for Mo Bamba to step out. But we talk about Ayton, we talk about Bagley, we talk about Mo Bamba. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been fantastic, but the guy I want to talk about, and I'm surprised we haven't brought him up since he is a Bull.
I'm trying to contain myself.
Wendell Carter Jr. has been absolutely ridiculous so far in Summer League. And
Best player in Summer League.
Bulls fans need to be absolutely hyped about this kid because he is, and I get it, it's Summer League, and people just said, you talked about the Knicks not being superly over-optimistic, but the biggest thing about Wendell Carter Jr. was that he was going to be consistent no matter what. He wasn't going to be a project. He was going to be a pro without a doubt, and he's going to be a starter. Would he be a star, though? The fact that he's showing this right away is that he's going to be a starter and should be a starter in Chicago
The
for
thing I love
years.
most, and this is just for me, when it comes to Wendell is, like I said in the Bulls segment when you asked me what my thoughts were when we drafted him, the best thing I like with the play right now from Wendell is that he is not making me think. The one thing I didn't want him to make me think was, oh man, I wish we would have had McHale, or like, oh, I wish we would have drafted this player. He's not making me think that, and he's making me happy that, hey, you know what, that we got him where we did in the draft.
Well, and the thing, too, that I've loved about Wendell Carter Jr. and you loved about McHale was the defensive side. And we see Wendell Carter go up against the guy
There was that
Trae
one
Young.
where he just like snatched it, and it's like, how did he get that?
There's that too, but then
How'd he
also
get that ball?
he got switched on Trae Young,
Yeah.
and Trae Young couldn't go anywhere, and Trae Young couldn't step back and shoot his typical
Let's be honest, though,
space range three
The thing
because
that's
of
bugged me with Trae Young is that he just tries to do too much.
Yeah, but going back to Wendell Carter, just when he got switched onto Trae Young, Trae Young, we typically saw him try to step back and take that long shot. But the one thing about Wendell Carter being switched onto him, he wasn't letting him to drive, and then again that length prevented Trae Young to make enough room and Wendell Carter to be able to close him out. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and that's the area that he's actually working the most on, is trying to work on his perimeter defense because he doesn't want teams to abuse him. So he knows that. He's talking about how he's already like, no, I'm working in the gym on that. I'm trying to get better. Like already, he's saying all the right things. Like I am thrilled.
And with Wendell Carter
thrilled.
Jr., someone said it in the segment I did when you guys were at VidCon, was the fact that the thing that they liked the most about him was that he almost went to Harvard and he was smart enough to go to Harvard.
Yep.
And we see that smart coming out. You wanted to mention Trae Young a little bit?
Well, the thing that bothers me about Trae Young is that, like, right now, I feel like he's trying to do way too much. There were the last game I watched with him where it's like, all right, you can cut to the right, beat the guy. Why are you dribbling back? All right, take two. You going to go to the left now? Oh, nope, you don't want to do that. I just want to see him, because he has the ability, cut in, draw guys in, kick it out to either the center down low or kick it to a guy out low. I feel like he's just trying to do too much and be the guy.
I think that's what he was doing early on, especially in Utah. But and we talked about it last week, Dave. What is his potential? And people crapped us on the comments because we didn't say he was going to be a superstar. Sorry, we don't think everyone's going to be a superstar. But
he
again,
will eventually.
Well, I don't think he's going to be a superstar at all. I think he's going to be a pro, but I don't think he's going to be a superstar. He's a guy, though, that, again, I'm not going to discredit what he did since we've talked about him last week because he was fantastic after we talked about him. I said that he was going to be a guy that's hot and cold in the league. He's going to have his performances where he does 23-8 like he did in summer league. He's also going to have performances where he goes 0 for 11. I don't think that's ever going to change throughout his career. I don't think he's going to be a guy that is going to be a consistent player enough to be a star because, again, his height is really going to limit him. Now, he's going to stay in the league for such a long time because he has the ability to shoot from the outside and has the ability to pass like a god. I mean, the biggest thing that I've been impressed with so far isn't his shooting, his parking lot range, like we talked about so much in Oklahoma, but is his passing vision. And it's been absolutely spectacular. And he helped lead that comeback against Indiana in the summer league. Absolutely fantastic what we've seen so far for Trae Young. I can attack the kid and I could point out his negatives, but also I got to give him props when he does because I'm not biased against the kid. I'm not rooting against him, but he was absolutely fantastic.
No, I agree with you. His shooting can be lights out at times, and that's what we need to see more of is just some sort of attempt at consistency because for him it comes down to like making the right shot and making the right choices with the ball in his hands and it turns into a bit of the Trae Young show at times, and that's what you notice. And yes, he's a great creator, but let's be honest, like when you're looking at point guards in summer league right now, one stands out. It's Shea. Like the kid is long. The kid has incredible handles for his age. He has just got that start-stop speed to him where it's just he looks smooth on the court. He kind of reminds me like it's the wrong analysis, but like he kind of reminds me a bit of the guy. I'm awful with names. I should never say that.
Describe him, Dave.
He got drafted by the Blazers, hurt his knees, got no knees.
Brandon Roy?
Yeah, Brandon Roy. Like, smooth like Brandon Roy. Like, he's got a bit of that to him.
Pretty sure he's bigger than Brandon Roy, too, because I think
He's
Brandon
like
Roy was like 6'3". I think Shea's 6'6".
Yeah, Shea's long, Shea's quick, but he can also slow down. He's blowing past people. His passing's good. His shooting's been okay. Like, he looks like he's got a complete game.
The thing I just take away from Summer League so far is that I miss Luka Doncic. I want to see him out there, and I miss Michael Porter Jr. I want to see what they can do. So Summer League, even though we've seen flashes from some of these guys, we still haven't seen it all. Ricky, final thoughts?
The last thing with Trae Young that I want to see is I want to see that mentality get better of kind of like I'm going to make the comparison to Steph Curry, but only of where Steph has the mindset to where, oh, I dribbled in and I beat the guy right off. I drew everyone in, and now I can kick it out to a wide open shooter who's right there from three. Because that's what they're trying to build in Atlanta, the mini Warriors.
Well, I think I've seen enough out of that in Summer League. And again, he's still a rookie.
He's still a rookie. Like, I want to see him. I want to see him commit to a side, beat the guy, draw it in, kick. Not, oh, I can beat you. Ooh, no, gonna dribble out. Ooh, I'm gonna pick this side. No, I'm gonna dribble out. I don't want to see that from him, but I get that he's a rookie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Well, and also I was just going to say, welcome to Summer League. We're going to nitpick everything, no matter big or small, no matter if they're a rookie or not. Again, Kevin Knox is now going to be the king of New York, Mayor C. de Blasio.
He's going to be the rookie of the year, apparently.
Wendell Carter Jr. is going to be, from going from Chicago Bull to Senate to, the Barack Obama strategy.
I got 3 shout-outs. It's DeAnthony Melton, potentially another steal. Troy Brown. Looks great. And third one is Zaire Smith.
And Trey Young's going to live under a bridge. And also shout out to Furkan, because Furkan dropped 40.
He dropped 40, then he went 0 basically, and then he went back to an average game of 20.
23, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
he had 23 to beat out the Suns.
Shout out the Sixers, and I know we probably didn't mention one player.
I try to drop a couple in it.
Yeah, let us know who we forgot, who you like so far in Summer League. And
we'll get one more of these probably.
And let us know what we did wrong, because we probably did, and you probably are going to yell at us in the comments because we love you guys. But let us know down in the comments what you think about Summer League Week 2 roundup.